Wendy Richter. I'm gonna fuck you up.
We want Mina.
Mamacita.
Thank you, Trish.
I am Medusa, always have been Medusa, and always will be Medusa.
That tooth, it was gonna come out anyway.
I break bitches.
Call me Diva.
Strap in, folks. Muscle babes are on the loose. Kia ora. What's up, sickos? I am Bix, and welcome back to episode 11 of Don't Call Me Diva! We talk women's wrestling, run down the weekly matches of AEW, ROH women's roster, and the non-roster wrestlers who face them. We're off to a good start, aren't we? We discuss the women's wrestler from the Diva era and Attitude era, WCW as it was, and the TNA knockouts here and there. We discuss lore. We make up lore. We fantasy book, and we waffle off on tangents. This we is me, by the way. Women's Wrestling Rules! Woo! So, after our rundown today, we will be continuing our tag team history and doing some fun little fantasy booking with the current women's division in AEW. And we are also allowing multi-promotional mix-ups of tag teams to make it an extra little fun. So let your imagination run wild and either tag me or leave some little comments on some tag teams you want to see yourself. And then we can go into matches together. Oh, it could be a whole thing. But before we get into that, lovelies, we have some news. A lot of leaving company news. Some, consensual, some perhaps not. But first off, women's wrestlers, a whole bunch of them got released from the Wubbly Rubbly Entertainment Company recently. There are also internet rumors, which I did see that I think Fightful kind of confirmed, but take it or leave it. That Shotzi Blackheart might be on the bench until her contract runs out, which is what the fuck? Why are you doing that to Shotzi Blackheart? Honestly, the last time I was paying attention, she was it. She was top check. She was on the would you say she was in the top tier of women's wrestling? I would from the outside looking in. I don't know what people who watched it thought, but to me it seemed like she was a Rhea Ripley level, no bullshit. That's what I thought of with Shotzi Blackheart. And she had all this she seemed to have Triple H behind her like a motherfuck. It's wow, what happened there? What happened there? I saw they shaved her head, and that always gives me the heebie-jeebies when a woman is involved in a shaving your head kind of scenario, because fill me in if I am wrong. There may be some. I am actually half thinking of something I read off recently in early Joshi years, but yeah. Let me know if I'm wrong, if you can think of any explanation, any examples. But and we'll go with American Western wrestling, women's wrestling. Tell me one women's wrestler who's had to have her head shaved in the middle of the ring for whatever reason, and shit has gone good for her after that. It seems like a conspiracy theory is what I'm trying to say. But I just honestly can't believe that they are dropping the ball on Shotzi Blackheart. Dropping the ball. That's an AEW thing apparently. But hey, I am all for her coming to AEW. I'm just going to blow that out there. Normally, I'm like, go wherever you want, it'd be great. And she can honestly go wherever she wants, she'd be great. But Shotzi Blackheart and fucking AEW, like, it's meant to be. So, sorry, Shots. Sorry, you have to sit on the bench until your contract runs out. I think. Oh, actually, no, I might be thinking of someone else's contract, but I don't think it's like a piddly widdly amount of time. But we will see. We will see. We will see. We will see. Funnily enough, who we were talking about last week in our first double digits tag team party time when we were like, Dakota Kai, wouldn't it be great? She came in, like Ruby Soho came back, from her pregnancy, and they came together and they did the whole fucking slam kick thing. Slam kick? Yeah. No, no, I can't even remember the name of the tag team. But I do remember in my last episode to go, check in on other Bexy and she'll tell you the actual name. But Dakota Kai got released. And Shayna Baszler got released, which also blows my mind. But at the same time, once again, I'm going to go all out with my all out. I'm just going to go, fully in with my booking here. And I think Shayna would be great in AEW as well. I mean, spot the obvious, like Death Riders. When we go fantasy book tag teams, a lot of you out there and my sickos thought the exact same thing. So I don't know. They'll have that whole like 90 days shibbity shabbity thing, which is like what? I don't know. 30, like 3 months. Fuck, that's a long time. So what are we in now? We are in May, June, July, August. So we're in, it'll be August, so September-ish. Okay. Keep your eyes peeled for September. The tag team of Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. I apologize. I don't know who these wrestlers are at all. But the world needs more women's wrestlers and definitely tag teams. So I hope they like find some work as well. Hey, come to AEW. We need to build up a tag team division in AEW. So come on over, lovies. Cora Jade, who is now going by, I forget, but we talk about it later. So you can go visit Future Bexy on that information. Jakara Jackson and Gigi Dolan has also skedoodled. Gigi Dolan has had a little flurry in AEW, but then she went to NXT like not too long after that. I think there was some like little jibbery jabberies from the sickos before they were sickos that like Gigi, but she did go over there. And it seemed like she was doing great, but hey, what the fuck do I know? So that is, that for them. But over in hello, Julia. Over in Joshi news, Stardom had an All-Star Grand Queendom 2025, and it was amazing. But in it, Mayu Iwatani lost her IWGP Women's title to Syuri. Meiko Satomura retired after a fabulous match against Aja Kong. Satomura runs an all-women's promotion, Sendai Girls Pro Wrestling, and she has actually done that for a while. But this is all news to me, so woo! And after the match, Aja Kong gave a beautiful, very emotional speech. And in it, she says that she looks forward to meeting the wrestlers from Sendai Girls in the ring. And basically she was saying, I can't wait to like kick their asses. And it was brilliant. There were tears in both women's eyes. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moment. Thank you, Mako, for everything. I'm pretty sure we did see your wonderful face in AEW at some point. I'll come across it, which would be wonderful if we do. It was quite the moment of deep respect and gratitude to one another. They have fought each other for a long time. And isn't it Nana's Aja Kong? She's still fucking going. Like literally. She looks, I mean, she was sweatier and crying, but she looked exactly like she looked and like the pay-per-views that we had, like the first pay-per-view that we talked about, where she came out into the casino battle royales. She looks great. Woo! So in this also, Thekla lost to Sakaya Kurara and is now rumored to be heading our way. Like actually our way. Not like is she gonna go here? Is she gonna give here? No, the rumors are actually that she's heading like AEW, you know, land. So that's great. Thekla has a wicked like persona and like look, and she's badass. She was, well, yeah, she was in Stardom Faction Hate, it's got like the boop boop boops, with my girl Saya Kamatani, who is the World of Stardom champion. And by the way, she faced Tam Nakano in a career versus career match. So now Tam is now no longer wrestling either. She has retired. Yeah, we saw, obviously you remember we saw and talked about Tam in, I think it might have been episode 2, even maybe 3. She's wonderful. Thank you very much for all of your contribution to women's wrestling, and we all here at Don't Call Me Diva thank you. And Meiko Satomura for all of your battles. And I know we will be discussing some of your legendary matches in our future episodes. It's going to be great. Oh, just for some little interesting sidebar, the creation story of Joshi Puroresu starts all the way back in 1948, 3 years after World War II. It started as an erotic performance put on as entertainment for drinkers in like strip clubs, minor theaters, cabaret clubs, yada yada. Contestants grappled against one another for their opponent's garter belt, which are those little things that you see around their legs, which I always thought was something saucy that went around your waist, but it's not. It's the leggy thing. It went underground for a bit due to the police attention that it got, but it came back in a more traditional professional wrestling kind of like, as we kind of like know it now, when Mildred Burke and Mae Young went over to Japan for a series of events in November of 1954 that really ooshed it up and then completely took off after that. In the 60s, Puroresu, sorry, they got more television time. It was common to have the wrestlers also perform songs in the ring, and they would also have intergender matches with like slight men in the match. So that was really interesting to know and explains a lot about Joshi. The tag team of Beauty Pair really helped ramp up the Joshi popularity in the 70s. They put out a single in 76 called Kake Meguru Session. Session, which blew up the following year. And then viewing numbers for women's wrestling on television also instantly increased. So, of course, I was interested in like what this music was. And I have listened to this song, and I ended up listening to it about 3 times in a row. The 3rd time was by accident, but I just let it go because it's freaking catchy. It is really catchy. It's catchy as all hell. And you can find it easily by just like typing in Beauty Pair, but oh my god, that's a catchy fucking tune. A lot of new fans that actually came to women's wrestling were a lot of teenage girls, which I was surprised in. I'll talk about it a little bit more later, but yeah, it was very interesting. Beauty Pair, Jackie Sato and Maki Ueda. Another significant pairing in Joshi Puroresu are Crush Gals, Nagota Chigusa and Lioness Asuka. They brought more eyes onto Joshi Puroresu in the 1980s. Nagoya is known for bringing drama into the ring, more than it had been done in the past, adding to like the good storytelling with her wrestling. Joshi Puroresu has often had like romance intertwined between the wrestlers for storyline purposes. Um, I didn't realize this, but this has just obviously just always been a thing. Yeah, so it's not like, it's not like the Wobbly Republic doing their like what is that? Lesbian pollen. It's like part of it from like the word go. It may have been like from the word go, lesbian pollen, but hey, they started as they intended on continuing, so let them go. It's also got a long history of like stiff working in the ring, as probably seen by now, and they also have the dojo culture between the mentors and the mentees in the women's wrestling as well, just like the men. It's an interesting like going back to the whole, like romancy thing. It's a very interesting discussion to have about Japanese culture between people who are far more knowledgeable on the subject than me, of course. But just a little thing like, but embracing like same sex romances in their pop culture, like especially for like the teenage girls and like, obviously a certain time of something of someone else, but we don't want to get too far off topic. Um, it gets really intense with the fandom, like, fanfic and they're like shipping these people like intensely. It's like a really strong pull for fans in Japan. A large group of certain people just seem to love to, like I say, like like same-sex couples together, just like they do with their idols and K-pop stars have the exact same thing. Yet, funnily enough, in both Japan and South Korea, they don't actually allow legal same-sex marriage. So to me, it gives like ew, like fetish vibes. But like I say, this is going far too deep into like real life discussion, and we're here to dance the alluring dance of kayfabe, which is gender fluid in my mindset. So perhaps not a little bit off topic, but let's go off there. I just thought it was an interesting little culture thing to, you know, acknowledge. And then moving on. In a future episode of Don't Call Me Diva, we will delve into Joshi as they have a really, really fun history with death matches, intergender matches, and great tag teams, like Jumping Bomb Angels, for instance. But for now, bring the boom, shake your boobs, it's dynamite. We come in after the trios match with the Ops because the Death Riders have stormed ringside. Fucking Yuta and Mox take out Samoan Joseph and Shibata, while Claudio goes for Hobbs on the outside. Our girl, which is why we're here, Marina, vaults the barricade, narrowly avoiding landing on Shibata's skull. Whew, as she lands. Marina is dressed for ass kicking, by the way, and she guns it straight towards Hobbs and then just starts laying into him, according to the commentary team. I didn't see it because we panned to Shibata being beaten by Claudio. But Marina has no fucking fear. Like, we know Hobbs. You've seen Hobbs. I've seen Hobbs. Jesus. Claudio takes out Shibata in the ring, and that was the sign for everyone to split. Because as we switch to the wide shot, we can see Marina leaping off of the back of Hobbs. So he's obviously gotten up, and frick knows what she was up to. But if I was, to hazard a guess, it looked a little choky. A little choky over there. The Death Riders vamos via their usual route, and we focus on Marina all tussled and ready for round 2. So I know it's obvious, Shayna versus, Marina has got to happen. Right? Like, I know we want them as a tag team, but can we have a little fight between them first? Like a proving ground kind of thing? Like, to be, you've been over there in like Fedland, like doing all that stuff. We've been over here in like Death Rider land doing all like this hardcore stuff, and like we're way more tough, and you've got to prove that if you've still got the chops to be able to hang with the Death Riders. And then we get Marina versus Shayna, and then like there's this whole respect thing like they did with the Blackpool Combat Club, and then hurrah, we get a tag team. That'd be great that way. Moving away from the chaos in the arena, we go to a pre-taped interview from the remarkable in purple Renee Paquette, which I have noticed by the end of writing this script, she is avoiding me a lot this week. Madam. She is in her knee-high black boots and casually tousled hair. Tousled may or may not be the word of the episode. I think it's the word of this half of the episode. Who knows if it continues on? And the CEO, 4 belts for her 4 boats, Mercedes Monet, who is in a red business suit with all the bedazzle of a wrestling champion. She has paired this with a sensible 2-inch strappy silver heel. Her fire and black hair is slicked back, and all the gold is on display in between her and Renee. This is most definitely a formal occasion, not a shenanigans occasion. Renee delicately plays question Russian roulette with the TBS champion's ego, and she soon goes on quite the Monet ramble as she dodges questions relating to her up-and-coming match against Hayter, which, by the way, I think Hayter is winning, and let's go Broken Mercedes in the aftermath. And then Athena can come along and torment her. That'd be brilliant. May 25th, everybody, double or nothing. It's in Glendale, Arizona. So get your butt there if you can. Pay-per-view peeps. It's on the Trills. It's on the pay-per-view .commies. It's on the YouTube paid thingamabibby. And Prime and shite for Canada and doodly diddly and the United Kingdom. Yeah. Renee is back after we've moved on, and she is backstage with the patriarchy. So, of course, it turns awkward, as is tradition with this family recently. Oy. I would not want to be Kip at this moment. Mother Wayne, though, is looking too satisfied for my liking, because you bet I cannot get what Papa Cage said out of my mind, and it's now permanently in there. So thank you very much for that. Mother Wayne is in a light peach top under a black and white checkered business jacket. Really was giving me Cher from Clueless vibes, if I'm completely honest. Oh no, actually more oh no. Oh no, it's gone. Dion. Sorry, didn't mean to yell that at you. It's actually more Dion vibes, because when she first comes in, she has that horrendous hat, but that wonderful checkered. I'm moving on. She will be coming out with her son, Nick, for his match a bit later that gets set up during this current interview with Scorpio Sky. The crowd does get a little bit distracted, to say the least, by Mother Wayne. Scorpio Sky, though, is a bloody good wrestler, and he and Nick Wayne have an excellent freaking match. So if you like men's wrestling, go watch that. All right? But for now, we're moving on. The world goes grey, but it's rainbow in our hearts, 'cause it's time for Timeless Tony Storm. Our world champion glides to the center of the stage, accompanied by the ever faithful Luther. Timeless is in all black because somehow she got the memo. Our world champion swishes and canters and twirls in her black dramatic robe all the way to the ring, and it's quite fucking fabulous. This is a world title eliminator match. Basically, the deal is you win this, you get a legit title shot. I'm such a mark. And I know that I would, for real, like tear up if I ever saw Tony Storm live. Just like a little personal sidebar here. I mean, let's be real. If I ever saw an AEW show live, I'd be weeping happy tears from like minute one. I'm a crier. It's annoying to all buggery. But we're moving on. Shout out also to our fabulous sicko brother who had the best seats in the house for the show. Fucking great seeing you there, friend. I'm so glad you had a good time. The woman who answered the challenge tonight is, oh shit, Miyu Yamashita. What? Fucking hell. We went over the amazing Miyu and her strong ass kicks and talented offense in episode 8 when we talked about her match that was coming up against Natty in GCW. Can we have a sidebar of sass here? Natty won that with a sharpshooter? I mean, really? A sharpshooter? Like, I've seen your matches, Natty. This is not a diss. If it was something no one had ever been able to get out of before, then maybe. But nah, that's just some bollocks, y'all. Like, I've seen people fucking kick out of your sharpshooter many times, less like powerful than Miyu, and you're winning it at a GCW match. Okay, I really need to move on. Miyu Yamashita, small Japanese sidebar. If you see Shita, it is said Shita, like if you see Shita, it's Shita, not Shita. You know, like Takeshita. I only brought this up because Excalibur like killed my ears by saying it horrendously wrong the first time, but he quickly, snapped himself up. But it was whoa, that was shocking. But yeah, so just in case, I'm so helpful, aren't I? Miyu has been in wrestling for 11 years, and if the match recommended tells you anything, it's that Miyu always has a brilliant match. I had to look at, because I like to flaggy at all their information, and on like Cage Seat, how it has that little like career highlights, shimmy, like matches recommended, yibbity boo. So fuck done. Woo! Almost all of her matches from 2020 are now the ones to watch. Like, whoa. Miyu is Joshi, so of course she hits hard and is going to be a great viewing watching these two tussle about in the ring. The uniquely Joshi music blasts itself into our arena as Miyu comes out to the entrance stage. She is looking super cool in her crimson battle gear and sweet ass crop battle jacket. She is confident and doesn't take her eyes off the champion right now, could you? As she makes her way to the ring. Our champion matches Miyu's serious expression and she reaches out her hand for a very, what do you call that? Like a stiff handshake, but respectful before, respectful before us kicking handshake. Excalibur brings up a very excellent point about Miyu's skull kick while the crowd serenades us with their Tony Storm song. Small on lyrics, but big on heart. Oh, yeah. And by the way, the thing that he was saying about her skull kick is that it's devastating as fuck. Miyu could legit kill you. Shinya Aoki had a Shinya Aoki and Miyu had a match against Konosuke Takeshita and Masha Slamovich, who is a tough as frick wrestler as well and has done a lot of like death matches in Mexico and stuff. We're going to be talking about her as well. But Miyu knocked Takeshita down with her skull kick. Now you see why I'm so like a sharpshooter. She knocked down Takeshita. Moving on. As the two wrestlers lock up, it's a clash of old school perfection versus Joshi Karate. And soon the legs of the world champion are being hammered by stiff kicks from Yamashita. Timeless stops the insanity by reaching for the ropes and breaking the connection. Whew. Miyu respectfully gives the champ some space and then slams a knee into the gut of Tony. A whip off the ropes gives the champion a boost and she flies at Yamashita, landing a Thez press and rains down heavy hands onto Miyu. The champ has some good fists. The champion got a little too heavy handed though, and the ref gives Timeless a little warning to stop doing all that. Storm leaves Miyu on the mat and gives us all a rolling chest beat. Timeless Storm, Timeless Tony Storm deals some damage to Miyu's back with a backbreaker and a gorgeous suplex. With the grace of a gazelle, Timeless leaps over the top rope and bashes the top turnbuckle for crowd participation. This was severely unwise because it was all the time Miyu needed to get up and kick the world champion right in the mush. The reach Mayu has with those kicks is bazonkers because her foot went all the way above her head to reach Tony's, and she was rightfully very proud of herself as Timeless tumbles to the floor. It is insane, their reach. She's got flexibility up the wazoo. Miyu tries to take advantage of the situation and lines the champion up, runs at her on the apron to kick the Timeless One in the face. 'Tis not to be, though, for our world champion yoinks said leg and pulls it out from underneath Yamashita, and Miyu slams face down onto the apron. Though now it is Tony's time to miscalculate as her hip attack, still on the apron, I'll have you, is avoided and all she hits is steel pole. Miyu gives us a cheeky little smile and an assessment of the plumpness of our world champion's booty before kicking it multiple times in succession with no intention of stopping, as Timeless was quite truly smushed in the corner. She wasn't going anywhere. The only person who could save her was Luther because the ref can't do shit. He runs over and he puts himself between the bottom of the champion and the foot of the challenger, waggling his finger disapprovingly at Mayu's face. While Luther assesses the world champion's bottom, Miyu gives Luther an ethnicity changing kick to the thigh and shoves the poor man to the ground. Woo! Miyu sees that Timeless truly is in a spot of bother and gives her one last mighty kick, and Tony flies out of the corner, hooray, but onto the floor. Boo! Unstuck, but now in more pain. Yamashita is having the time of her life right now as the ref checks to see if Timeless still has frosting on her cakes. Don't worry, those cakes are still good. Miyu doesn't let the champion lay down for long, though, and she is soon throwing Timeless into the barricades. Then she stalks her around the ring. Timeless takes a seat in the most dangerous seat in the house. Oh, and gets a crash rabbit heat to the face from Miyu. That is a running knee, in case you were wondering. Miyu takes the piss and uses Storm's body as a kick pad. When she turns to protest to the ref, who is kind of counting them out, but very slowly. But hey, it's Rick Knox. He's the head referee, and he's all sorts of like letting shenanigans happen. So what are we meant to expect from all the other rogue referees team when he is your leader? By the way, just in case you were wondering, this is complete don't call me diva law bollocks, but the refs are all crooked, and I will stand by that. Timeless is like, fuck this shit, yoinks Miyu, and now it is Storm who dishes out the punishment with sharp chops to Yamashita's chest. Timeless goes to throw Miyu into the ring, but it is she who gets thrown in, and the count is eventually broken. Timeless gets heft up onto Miyu's shoulders, but the Timeless one does kicky feet and she wriggles out, instantly putting Yamashita in a sleeper. But Miyu doesn't want to moi and she elbows Timeless in the gut to get her to break the hold. When that won't work, a swift arm drag does the trick and Timeless goes tumbling painfully back down to the mat. Miyu decides to give this pinning malarkey a little go, but it's just a 2. A very strong 2, by the way, and Miyu is pissed. They exchange shots at each other until Miyu gives a short shot to Tony's womb. Oh, this puts Timeless completely off her game, and Miyu makes her suffer with a step up enziguri off the middle rope, and takes the Timeless one down. The crowd try to use the power of song to bring the champion back to life, but all that singing just motivates Miyu, and she quickly pounces on the Timeless one and starts choking her out again. This time, adding some knees to the back of the champ for extra oomph. What is going to happen to our Timeless one? Yamashita brings Tony to her feet and she can knee her. Oh, so I'm sorry. She can knee her in the tits for a bit. Then Miyu hip tosses the world champion to the mat while still having her in a choke. She just can't get out of this. Now, laying on her back in the middle of the ring, Miyu puts all of her weight on Timeless while squeezing on her neck. Yamashita is very smart and tried to also use this as an opportunity to pin the Timeless one or choke her out. Either one. But so far, our world champion is managing to avoid both by shimmying her body weight around. Yamashita pulls Timeless to her feet, done with this, still having her trapped in a side cobra clutch situation, though, by the way. And then she gives her womb a few more kicks, just for good measure. By the way, we're in Norfolk, Virginia. Ha! And the crowd have been fabulous. I really need to find out where we are before I get into halfway through the thing. But, why break a rule? Never mind. Miyu hammer fist down on Tony Storm's back and she crumbles to the floor. Miyu sends Timeless and gives her, Miyu sends Timeless? Okay. Miyu grabs Timeless and gives her another brutal kick. Oh, I'm just gonna melt from embarrassment. Never mind. Miyu tries a step up enziguri off the top rope again, but Tony is Borg, remember? And she sidesteps the kick and then plants a stiff forearm into the face of Yamashita. Yamashita doubles over, but rises with a smile on her face. And she gives Tony a stiff forearm to the jaw. See, this is what you have to worry about, these Joshis, right? All these tough, sharp, hits to the face, and they're like, bring it on, mama. The two wrestlers duke it out in the ring, trading stiff forearms. Tony gains the upper hand and forces Miyu into the corner with repeated forearms. This seems to have activated Miyu, like I said, and she starts walking into those forearms as they pound into her chest like she's freaking Terminator or something. Yamashita continues to walk forward. No longer do the forearms have any effect on her, and that rather adorable yet scary smile is back on her face. Miyu waist locks Timeless and attempts to suplex her, but Storm puts a stop to that with a back elbow into Mia's face. Our world champion should have just taken the suplex, to be perfectly honest, because what she ends up getting is way worse. Yamashita nails Tony in the back of the head with a roundhouse kick that evens her out and then evens her out with a super kick to the jaw, making her a double-sided sandwich of pain. Miyu Yamashita's fact break. Way different tone. In the last 7 months, she has been in the ring with members of the men's roster and the beloved Harley Cameron. 2 were in a 3-way for the DDT Universal title. Miyu won that against the champion Mal, and Speedball Mike Bailey was there. Then Miyu lost it to the next day to Gringo Loco, who was with and also Jane. No, Jane? Nick Wayne. Nick Jane Wayne. Nick Jane Wayne. Nick Jane Wayne. Anyway, third was a one-on-one with Mike Bailey, and Miyu won that. Kylie Ray was Miyu's tag partner, and they were victorious against Harley and Lainey Luck. So Miyu already has like this little, rivalry going on with our dear Bailey. Our dear Bailey? Yeah, our dear Bailey, our Speedball Bailey. Miyu has also faced AEW alumni Layla Hirsch. Now, imagine if Miyu and Layla got to be a tag team. Oh, that'd be great. So I was pondering on this and I got names of like Solid Flex, Mad and Dangerous, and Death by Kicks. That would be cool. Bring Layla back and then we can have Miyu and Layla. Woo! Speaking of kicks, though, Mia goes to roundhouse Tony's head off, but her leg is caught by the champion. And before Miyu can even think, the Timeless One sends her skyward with a release German suplex. Miyu seeks refuge in the corner, but it's just a ruse as she flies out of there and skull kicks a running Tony, who has also come in full steam ahead for a hip attack. Tony is laid out, but Miyu isn't doing too much better. She crawls over the Timeless for the pin, but it does not get the 3. A frustrated Miyu pulls Timeless up by the hair and goes to run to the ropes. But our world champion grabs the back of her tights. This is grabbing the back of Miyu's tights. And Miyu is going nowhere. Miyu is like, fine, I'll bonk you with a back elbow then. But the champion goes, oh, no, 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 no. It is I that shall be bonking you. And she counters the elbow and lifts her up sky high she truly comes down from the clouds, which, as you know, are like Kevin Knight's property. But he's just that kind. He will rent airspace to you for a mango frozen yogurt. So Tony pins Miyu after that huge suplex. But it's just a dude. She is denied a 3. We get a second pin by the champion via a gorgeous fisherman suplex. But again, Miyu is able to kick out before the 3. Storm is not losing confidence, though, and she gets to her feet quickly, calling upon the crowd to give her some love. It unfortunately does not help her, and soon Tony Storm is visiting the mat again, this time by way of a Death Valley driver. Whoa! Our champion is out on her knees. Miyu lands a hard round kick to the shoulders of Timeless. Oh, this must have totally woken her up, though, because Timeless avoids the incoming Crash Rabbit heat off the top ropes and slams Yamashita to the mat with a superb suplex. Miyu has no idea where she is, and she seeks refuge in a very, very dangerous corner. It's across from Tony Storm, and she's getting herself ready for some sweet cheek music by way of the hip attack. Miyu, being a Joshi, she is able to take the hip attack square in the face. Whoa! It's not good for her, though, because Tony drags her out to the center of the mat, plants Miyu with a Storm Zero. It's a 1, it's a 2, it is a 3, and the winner is Storm! An extremely high-pitched squeal erupts from someone very close to the mic, and I swear it's not me. And the crowd cheers, and the arena fills with the sound of our world champion's music. Time as Tony Storm basks in the glory of her win, with her world championship glistening in the lights, as is her right. But then suddenly goes something goes very nautical, and the CEO, 4 belts for her 4 boats Monet's music, interrupts this celebration. The nerve, madame. At first, Timeless is all, am I going to fight another bitch? But quickly composes herself and poses regally with her title. A look of pleased confidence is now on the Timeless one's face because a very talented wrestler is gracing her presence. Mercedes has let her hair down and is now adorned in all of her gold. She has a mic and will apparently be beating Hater and then beating Tony to win the AEW World title. She has all the confidence in the world. Like she, in her own words, thinks she deserves this AEW title. And apparently Hater isn't gonna stop her at all. She's just gonna like barrel through Hater. So you know what this means, don't you? Money, you are fucked now. This music brings death. Are you ready, people? Hate is going to kill you. Not sorry about it. You know this is your fault, Mercedes. You should have been smart. Now, look, you are fucked. Smashed down with her fist. Haters not to be messed with Mercedes. I think the song explains it all. Hater is in blue jeans overall and a green coat. Jamie and Tony lock eyes. And then the music takes the champion into its bosom and she dances with every fiber of her body in the ring. And it's a thing of beauty. I feel seen. So anytime you're wondering what I'm doing when Hater's music comes on, watch that. That's it. Plus, I'm probably also making up words at the same time. It is such a bop. Really get you going. Okay. Mother Wayne is in her cream thigh-high booted glory. I totally flabloozled myself on that one. She comes out with on the patriarchy, and about 2/3 of the crowd get a little too excited by her appearance. She basks in it though. She loves it. Dynamite ends with Kyle, say my full name Fletcher, losing in an exquisite match against Hangman. Call me what you like, just call me Paige. That was it. That was it for Dynamite. That was brilliant. I really loved how Jamie Hayter just came out and went, you think you're just like bowling through me? Like that ain't happening. Because yeah, as we all know, Monet lives, she lives more in like Delulu kayfabe land than we do here at Don't Call Me Diva. And we are quite deep in that land. But she just takes the cake. As if she's fucking mayor of that land. I'll allow it, but I don't want a political position in Divaville, but she's a bit bonkers sometimes, aren't we? Are we ready for Ring of Honor, people? I said, are we ready for Ring of Honor, people? We get a match from the ROH television champion Red Velvet, because if you remember from my last episode, we were a little bit too deep in the woods. So we are doing the match from the other week and then this week. So this is not then. Anyway, Red Velvet is an AEW OG. Her talent in the ring and on the mic has grown so much. She is really fucking cool. Red Velvet loves a dark red and it looks so good on her. Her battle gear is black, long tights, and a stylish crop tank embellished with dark red, sparkly and shit. Her boots are a brighter red, and that matches perfectly with her championship because the championship is red as fuck. Ashley Vox will be facing the champion in a proving gown. Proving gown? A proving ground match. A proving ground match is when an up-and-comer wrestler usually takes on a more experienced wrestler who is holding a title. If they win or last a full 10 minutes, they will get a future title shot. We chatted about Ashley Vox in our rundown of the Megan Bain 2-on-1 on Spring Breakthrough Collision in episode 8, I think, Rooney. Unfortunately, Ashley and her younger sister, Dalmi XO, are feuding due to dastardly deeds from Dalmi. Ashley Vox competed recently at the GCW's recent Clusterfuck Battle Royale, which AEW legend Brody Lee Jr. won. It also had Megan Bain in it, and Viva Van was in it, and former Diva, in a respectful way, Sunny Kiss was in it. We're just everywhere. Red Velvet is full of spice, and I love it. She is just a cheeky shit now. Velvet plays around with Vox, pulling out the old psych with the handshake of honor before the match began. Because as is tradition, you are meant to do the whole shaky. I am cackling because this is so playground, but then a successful signal, to end the game, and but then there's a successful handshake signals the end of the game, and Velvet pulls Vox in for a stiff lariat that sends Vox crashing to the mat. All right, okay, I know what I'm saying. You might not, but I do. Velvet pounds down on Vox's head, who tries to cover up. Satisfied with the beatdown, Red Velvet poses for the crowd and for us at home, and she is very proud of herself. This could have been a potential fuck up from Velvet, though, because Vox takes this moment of self grandeur and rolls Velvet up in a cheeky little roll up, but trying to smoosh Velvet into herself and lock her into the pin. Vox ends up over rotating, and Red Velvet kicks out. Because remember, not too high, but you're going to get the smoosh like a bin. Red Velvet gets pissed and starts talking shit to Vox while choking her out on the middle rope. You gotta love it. Red Velvet then mocks Vox by goofing around with her hook finger signal, and this was the last straw for Vox. The two wrestlers start battling it out, with Vox fired up as she lands in some stiff shots to Red Velvet that really takes the champion by surprise. The surprise, though, soon turns into anger, and Velvet repeatedly slams Vox's face into the turnbuckle. A takeover into a pin, but Ashley Vox is like, nah, and kicks out at one, which Red Velvet takes very personally as an insult. It definitely sent a message to the television champion, that's for sure. Red Velvet then sends a message herself via a brilliantly hidden calf on the throat choke. You see, Velvet positioned his body perfectly to obstruct the ref's view, while Velvet protests the whole pin count situation. The ref does finally catch on, and Velvet has to stop choking her with her leg because that's not allowed. Okay, this has just occurred to me. So you can do a sleeper thingamabobby on someone. You can do all sorts of chokes. Name a choke, you can do it, apparently, in pro wrestling. But then why can't you have a leg over the throat choke thing? Why is that illegal? Maybe it's just a Ring of Honor thing. We'll get back to that. Velvet tries a more legal way of choking Vox in a more of a squeezing of the side of the neck with her biceps kind of way than a standard choke. Vox powers up to her feet, and Velvet's like, rude. And Vox would soon be regretting it, because getting up, I should say, because Velvet sends heavy shots to Vox's stomach and rough kicks. The ref gets Velvet out of the corner, but 'tis just for a second as Velvet goes back on the attack and shoves the heel of her boot into Vox's throat, using her incredible flexibility to stretch into a split. And I swear we got a little booty shake as a bonus, but that just might be me making shit up. Red Velvet gives us a little shimmy before running in at Vox. But this hot doggin would be punished as Velvet runs straight into a back elbow from Vox that rocks the champion. Velvet stumbles into a boot from Vox and is super dazed in the middle of the ring. Vox climbs to Brett's rope and knocks Velvet down with a missile drop kick. Vox keeps the pressure on Velvet with a stiff knee to the face, even though Velvet is dodging and weaving some of the attacks, even avoiding the incoming fish hook. But Vox still has control over Velvet and would eventually catch her with the second attempt of a fish hook. Vox has control of Velvet's arm and she pulls her around by this fishhook thing before spinning Velvet and landing a flying spinning lariat right into her, slamming through Velvet and bringing her down to the mat. Vox goes in for the pin, but Velvet springs back to life and kicks out at 2. Vox knows what this victory would bring her, and she calls upon the crowd to give her some extra power because time is running out. As Vox goes to fisherman suplex Velvet, the champion turns the tides, and Vox goes down from a knockout punch by Red Velvet. Sexy pin, and we have a 1, a 2, and a 3 for our win by the champion. Sorry, Vox, no future championship match for you. Velvet kicks Vox's unconscious body out of the ring and celebrates with her title until we are interrupted by the hip shaking tunes of La Catalina. Oh, woo! She is all up in the face of the champion before the two face it off in the title match next week, aka coming up next in this episode. Woo! She being Velvet did not like that at all, and that was great. Next, and Ring of Honor, we get a promo for the up-and-coming Pure ROH Women's World Championship to crown the inaugural champion. Layla Gray puts her name forward, as does Deonna Purrazzo, whom we have been wondering where she is. So it's nice to see her back. Taya Valkyrie also puts herself forward for the tournament. Adding these 3 to Queen Aminata, Serena Deeb, gives us 5 so far, unless I'm forgetting someone in this tournament, but I'm pretty sure we only have 5 so far. Be interesting to see who comes in next. If I have missed someone, let me know. Ring of Honor next, we have Mina Shirakawa versus Layla Gray. Oh, maybe Mina Shirakawa could be in the tournament. Anyway, hold me up. I am about to hit the floor, people. 2 hard-hitting, very talented wrestlers who flirt between face and heel in the violent dance of awesomeness. I am stoked. When I first saw that this was coming on, I was like, oh yeah, bring on ROH. This is going to be good because we all know how your girl loves Layla Gray and she loves Mina. We want Mina. Hello. Top Flight's music hits and Layla Gray comes out to center stage. Yeah, it's all good that Layla Gray still comes out. Well, I mean, obviously she's part of the faction. So it makes it like more of a faction-y thing if they all come out to the same music. The boys don't come out with it. I mean, not that they need to, but yeah, it's just her. She comes out in a gorgeous lavender battle 2-piece, dark purple stars, and a very fluffy, comfy looking shawl. Layla is oozing confidence as she gets into the ring. You can see from the first moment we see Layla Gray in the baddies to now that confidence in herself in the ring in every aspect is like gorgeous. Next, we have the unmistakable sounds of Joshi as Mina Shirokawa's music hits. Mina is in a glorious long VK-esque style jacket and she swishes and swells as she dances to her entrance music. No, we are not doing it. There's a lot of choreography. There's a lot of swishing. I don't have much room. Mina's jacket is sparkly, as is tradition, also in a light purple color with a gold, like I didn't know the thing, sherry stuff. We're moving on. Mina is talent and charisma personified. Her battle gear is white with all the colors and sparkles. I'm pretty damn sure that this is the first time we've seen Mina Shirakawa since starting the show. So welcome to the show, Mina, and welcome to AEW. We want Mina, and we got Mina, there are so many talented women wrestlers in Japan. I mean, they have been building the industry consistently since, after World War II, like I said, and, beyond. The legends will always be built over there. There seems to be a missing ingredient from a wrestler if they haven't done some time in Nippon. So they don't worry, they will be fine. Everyone who's left, there's plenty more. Beat the microphone. Plenty more wrestlers to step up. I mean, they already are stepping up. So I know a lot of people online are like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? They're all leaving. Believe you me, they're fine. They're gonna be fine. We have an official New Japan NZ dojo in New Zealand, where you can get all that dojo experience. Jay White trained up there. It's in Auckland, and it's established by the Rogue General Bad Luck Fale, who was one of the OGs from Bullet Club, and is the cousin of Ain't Nobody Realer Than Gorillas, Tama and Toa. Mina's epic entrance is a choreographed burst of energy, like for real. If you were going to learn it, you would have to be like put it on fucking super slow because it's all like sweet, 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 and then we go up and go down. Her music is To Be GSS by Kill Bill Payne BB. We've talked about her history with Mariah May, who, by the way, is still posting gorgeous photos of herself with the World Championship on Instagram. Like I said, I'm perfectly happy if she's happy where she goes, but it would be nice if she stayed in the good place. Complete segue, but this is going to me to think about another layer of pro wrestling while I was writing this that I haven't really thought about in terms of skill level before. The promo picture, right? The ability to pose in a way that correlates to your character is something that doesn't come naturally to most. And it's definitely an area you need practice in for sure. You can't just be like, I have an idea of what I'm going to look like in my brain, and then my outside is just instantly going to do it. Because believe you me, it does not. It really does not. Your eye does something, your mouth does something, you know, shit goes on. You need to really practice that stuff. When I was being photographed performing on stage or in band promo, Pixel, yada yada, I took what I had learnt from playing around in the mirror while listening to music and stuff. I used to, anyway, and brought this into my performing character. I learned how to sneer, be stern, happy, smiling. Happy and smiling, those are definitely things that need to be practiced more when you are using your body to sell your profession. I personally found it a lot more easier to personify a menacing kind of, or like an overly exaggerated, like, kind of thing, because smiling, a natural smile, like if you're gonna try and pull off, like, if you're a Kylie Ray, she really gets into it, and that's part of her like character is like the big, but like if you want to like a natural smile that instantly comes to your face, I mean, you'll see it every time you look at a picture of yourself. It, like, scrunches it up, and it may not like, and it shows all your gums, and it may not be like what you want in like the promo of your character to be in. You're like, that is too much of me in there. Your eyes get all lost in the joy. And to try and pull off like an alluring but open smile in a photo takes practice. And those skills, in my opinion, are a part of being a successful wrestler, you know? Because if you can't, yeah, I mean, I'm a whole package kind of person, and I think it's a skill that some people like forget about. But yeah, it's a needed skill. Moving on, Mina Shirakawa started out as a gravure idol, which is a glamour model in Western terms. Okay, do you guys know what? Does Americans know what glamour? You know what glamour models are. It's not like porn or anything. It's like soft, soft, soft boobies. Mina brings us into her wrestling character of this hyped, cheerful, always smiling, joking, and partying type, popping the champagne, bringing the sexy with her. Like, she brings all that from being gravure into her wrestling persona. So if you were wondering, like sexual tensions and expression is a big part of Mina's character. So expect that a lot in her heel run. Okay. Always be respectful in every situation. Keep your hands to yourself unless invited. But it's absolutely consensual to swoon over Mina Shirakawa. Okay. It's part of her character. And I hope that maybe brings you a bit more clarity about where she's coming from as a wrestling character wise. And I hope that a little bit about Joshi as well kind of like puts it more into context too. It's not like I'm just doing this for like the male gaze kind of thing. It's part of her character. Mina's finishes are the glamorous driver Mina. Here we go, people. An inverted face lock transitioned into a sit-out scoop slam pile driver. Figure 4 driver Mina. I say this because she has Mina in like capital letters after almost all of them. Here we go again. An inverted face lock transitioned into a cross-legged sit-out scoop slam pile driver. The glamorous strong style, also known as GSS, I think, is a belly to back suplex dropped into a wheelbarrow facebuster. Brutal. And glamorous collection, Mina, an inverted leg trap crucifix spin. Why did I fuck up that? An inverted leg trap crucifix pin. Leg trap crucifix. Wow. Anyway, Mina has held the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship, which is currently one of Mercedes' titles, the Wonder of Stardom Championship, and many others. She is very decorated. If she wins this, anyway, she isn't even in the tournament, and I'm already saying if she wins this tournament and wins the title, it wouldn't be a surprise. We'll see what happens. Sorry, Julia. I keep booping Julia. She's all right. It's interesting that Mina's first match is on ROH, but I don't think it's a slight in any way. I mean, put a match on between Mina Shirakawa and Layla Gray, and I think you have extra incentive to watch ROH, in my opinion. Plus, it looks like they film a lot of ROH in the same places as they film the shows. So perhaps if you go to a live show, you may get yourself a little bonus Mina and Layla and all the other awesomeness. Like I said, if you love lucha, there's a whole heck of lucha. A very respectful handshake this time is shared between the two wrestlers, and they genuinely look like they are absolutely looking forward to this match. No, there's no heat in this match, and that doesn't like diss it at all. Not at all. We're going to test each other's strengths, test each other's talents, and it's great. For Layla, it's like, oh yeah, testing myself against the Joshi. And Mina's like, all right, testing myself in my first match here in American wrestling. Woo! Both wrestlers are face, so we shouldn't have any dastardly deeds in this fight. A strong lockup into a test of strength starts us off. Layla is powering Mina into the ropes until Mina digs in her heels and powers Layla back into the ropes behind her. After backing off from the ref count, Mina quickly whips Layla off the ropes, but Layla uses fancy footwork to counter. The two wrestlers then engage in a beautiful dance of violence, ending with Mina ducking a fast lariat from Layla, and Mina gives us her famous little on her knees titty shimmy. Layla is like, okay, still like skills, but rude, and runs to the ropes. But as she comes back to Mina, Shirakawa toe trips Layla and then quickly drop kicks Layla in the side of her face. This is a well-known tactic from Mina Shirakawa. Future opponents, pay attention. Joshi explode in general with power. It's the one of the things that makes them stand out in the ring. The speed they can get to in seconds makes everything they do look way more powerful. A little titty shimmy for the crowd gives Layla a bit of time to recover, and she reverses the waist lock, picking up Mina and slamming her to the mat. A beautiful roll into a tight pin from Layla just gets the two. Mina gets hit with a pump kick from Layla that wins her, and Layla follows up with a sling blade that dazes Mina. Layla lands a gorgeous 360 neck breaker, and we get a little titty shimmy in celebration now from Layla. Bring the boom, shake your boobs, it's ROH. While appreciated, the shimmy was probably not the wisest move. And when Layla goes for the pin, she only gets a 2. We get a close up on Layla's face, and she's like, yeah, fair. And they get straight back into it. Layla lays in a stiff forearm, and Mina's all for this. Mina Shirakawa is very happy to play the Eat My Forearms game, and she happily obliges by laying one into Layla. Layla pounds multiple forearms into Mina, and she eats them all up. Nom, 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 nom. When Layla goes for a power move off the top rope, Mina takes this opening and she goes to the ropes herself. The ropes were going into business for themselves and almost fucked up Mina's springboard gamengiri. But Layla's confusion about the whole situation gave her a slight moment to recover, and Mina lands the gamengiri from the bottom rope instead of the middle as usual, and Layla crashes to the mat. Mina goes to cover, but hell no, it's a kick out at 1 from Layla Gray. She is not lying down. Mina thinks, fuck that noise, and starts punishing Layla's knee, which is going to be the beginning of the end, weakening it up for the figure 4, which is also her finisher, the figure 4 driver. Mina, an inverted face lock transition to a cross-legged sit-out scoop slam pile driver, but she does do the figure 4 leg lock an awful lot too, without the whole cross-legged doohickey. Layla is very strong, and she rolls them both over. And Layla grabs the ropes to break the figure 4 submission. While Gray catches her breath in the corner, her back is vulnerable, and after stomping up some energy from the crowd, Mina lets out a battle cry and hammers down a spinning lariat onto the shoulders of Gray, who gets as far as she can away from Mina while clutching at her back. That little stomp up to wind it up. Oh, that must have made it so worse. Mina is hyping up the crowd again, and she climbs to the top rope. Layla is not in a good way, and instead of getting out of harm's way, she has turned and she just stumbles right into the diving sling blade from Mina. Shirakawa goes for the pin, but Layla can still kick out at 2 anyway. I'm pretty sure she's just running on fumes now at the moment, but Mina's like, damn, are you sure? To the ref, and you can see that the strength of Layla's heart and stamina is impressing the multi-time champion. Another battle cry from Mina makes Layla get on her feet real quick, but Mina kicks at the knees that she has been working on, and Layla stumbles. Mina sends Layla to the corner, who is visibly having issues with her knee. But Layla is not out of this fight, and she quickly avoids Mina's incoming something-a-hoother. Layla uses the ropes to lift her legs, and Mina just slides straight underneath into the ropes. Slightly winded, Mina struggles to recover, and Layla pounces with a gorgeous shotgun drop kick that plants Shirakawa back into the corner. How she could land on that with that knee is beyond me. Bringing Mina to the center of the ring, Layla sets her up for a double underhook power driver, but Mina's like, nope, and wriggles out of Layla's grasp. Layla ends up in the position she did not want to be in, a figure four in the middle of the ring. Layla powers through the pain for a very impressive amount of time and tries multiple different ways to reach the ropes and wriggle closer. Mina is incredibly strong as well, though, and is a master of the figure four by now. Once Shirakawa has you locked in those powerful legs, you are pretty much foot unless you are able to wriggly to get to the ring. I mean, get to the ropes as Layla's trying to do. She won't give up. No matter how much more power Mina puts into this figure four, Layla still tries to reach for the ropes on all sides, no matter what. Mina ramps up the pain level though, and she does a bridge with this submission. All of the pain just shoots through Layla's legs, and she must instantly tap, bringing this fight to an end. It was tough, and Mina shows respect to her downed opponent. Mina helps Layla to her feet. They hug and share the spotlight of a match well fought. And I thought that was a really great way to end that whole thing as well, not as, pissed that I lost, not as like, haha, I won. It was a mutual, like, we did good. You lost, but you were brilliant, and you bet me, but next time you're not going to get me. So, I'm excited to see more. It's gonna be really, really awesome having Mina in the AEW roster, because just the different kind of matches she's going to be able to give all the women is just going to be just really, really awesome. So I'm looking forward to all that as Penelope Ford tries to take the center stage. Know your role, lady. Woo! Oh, yes, people. We are now up to the ROH Women's main event in our minds, and it comes after a very fun little trios match. A funky, hip moving sounds of La Catarina's music hits, and it always puts an involuntary smile on my face. See, look, I'm just thinking about it, I'm instantly smiling. It just reeks of wrestling, and I freaking love it. La Catarina is out in her pink and black battle one piece with all of the appropriate sparkles and the pink boa. Diva is written across her boobs, and we most definitely approve, because remember, don't get it twisted about Don't Call Me Diva. If you need clarification, please go back and listen to episode 1. We love a free will diva here. La Catarina wrestles in long socks and sneakers, and it's fucking cute. AJ Lee did that, eh? And Sky Blue. When Sky Blue first came, she had the old socks and sneakers. We get to stirring it up as the ROH World Television Champions music hits, and Red Velvet comes out to the entrance stage in all of her red velvet snazziness. Velvet is in a blue jean version of her battle gear from the last match we talked about, and I don't think Red Velvet has any worries in her mind over losing this match. She is about as unbothered as Monet would be. Red Velvet gets into the ring with all the swagger and confidence of a champion, walking right up in the Catarina's face. Yeah, and what? Catalina is like, thanks for the close up of my future title. And shit is going to get heavy in this match. We have a lot of passion. As the two wrestlers go in for the handshake of honor, Red Velvet starts playing around again with this whole like psych thing, and La Catarina is having none of it. La Catarina grabs Red Velvet's hand and gives it a firm handshake whilst giving her a stern talking to about no shenanigans. They circle each other and they prepare to fight. These two are serious and they lock up, testing the strength of the other before pushing each other away, glaring at one another and talking shit whilst rubbing at both of their necks. A beautiful, violent dance of twisting limbs plays out in the ring, only stopping once La Caterina arm drags Red Velvet to the mat. Strength wise, La Caterina has it over Velvet, in my opinion, but Velvet is tough, quick, has that knockout punch, remember? And both are very good chain wrestlers who know how to twist someone up into painful pretzels. The crowd are loving this clash already, and the majority seem to be the Caterina fans as the chant starts up around the venue. I don't know where we are. Red Velvet yoinks La Caterina's head into a side headlock and does not let it go, no matter what La Caterina tries to do. La Caterina takes advantage of an opening and rolls Red Velvet high onto his shoulders for a cheeky little roll up. As we know, that is not smart, and the champion is able to use his strong legs to kick out at two. We go into a flurry of pins next, starting with a quick sweep of the legs from La Caterina and then going in for an ambitious pin. Red Velvet wastes no time by bridging out gorgeously. Red Velvet then takes advantage of La Caterina's body position and rolls her up for a cheeky pin. Whoa, it's just a two, and they are quick to both get back up. The Caterina twists Velvet around and okay, we're pausing. What? Backside, not black slides. Jesus. All right. We are going to start again from after cheeky pin. It's just a two. So I'm going to start from saying it's just a two and they're quick to get back up. Because you'll be able to see it in like your version. But when I wrote in No Wonder, I was like, what the fuck? All right. So starting from, I went down too far. Starting from, huh? Oh, yeah, I see where I am now. So starting from, it's just a two. While I scratch my head. It's just a two, and they are quick to get back up. The Caterina twists Velvet around and backslides her down into a pin. But Red Velvet is too mad to be pinned, and the two wrestlers give each other words of promised ass whippings, both frustrated by the other's strength and skill. Red Velvet goes for a pump kick, but it's blocked by La Caterina, who spins Velvet around and then taunts her with a body shimmy. Red Velvet gets mad and runs at La Caterina, whose taunting totally worked. La Caterina takes control of Velvet and pushes her to the corner, then setting her up on her shoulders for an electric chair. Red Velvet is not going to allow these kinds of shenanigans and grabs a hold of the top rope to stop the incoming bad landing. The ref is counting Velvet out for holding onto the ropes like it's illegal to stop yourself from crashing to the mat or something, which is dodgy as hell, Aubrey. Like, yeah, surely she can hold the ropes to stop her. What? Huh? Anyway, Red Velvet has to let go, flashes the ref a sweet smile, and La Caterina gets herself in position. Red Velvet rakes La Caterina in the eyes, and La Caterina drops Velvet to the mat. Now we know why she was giving the ref a cheeky little smile. La Caterina quickly turns to face Red Velvet, threatening her with an even more legit hiding after that eye rake, and Velvet protests as 'twas nothing, and then whips Catalina's legs out from underneath her. The energy ramps back up again, both wrestlers using speed bumps to try and trip each other as they run the ropes, but neither is successful. Until the Caterina switches it up with a shotgun drop kick, followed by a lung blower that didn't fully connect, allowing Red Velvet to roll herself under the bottom rope and onto the floor. The crowd resume their cheering of Caterina, and Red Velvet blows them off. They don't know nothing. Red Velvet would soon be in a world of hurt because Caterina and because of Katerina, and she comes out to the apron and runs at Velvet, knocking her down with a cannonball off of the apron. That dastardly apron. It's trying to stitch me up again. The Katerina celebrates with the crowd, then returns to Velvet, who grabs La Katerina by the head and rams it into the ring post. La Katerina responds like bitch and gives a shot to Red Velvet's face that had a lot of menace in it. La Katerina is pissed. Red Velvet really fucked up from the word go with that cheeky handshake bollocks. Red Velvet gets pounded by La Katerina on the outside and she screams out a frustrated battle cry. I think she was expecting a lot more of a respectable match. Red Velvet comes back quickly and sweeps La Katerina's legs from underneath her while she tries to use it to kick Velvet from up on the apron. La Katerina pancakes the apron and Red Velvet mocks the crowd in hilarious fashion. Red Velvet brutally drags La Katerina along the apron by the hair to the ring post and uses said ring post to slam La Katerina's knee into it. The crowd are sassy, and Red Velvet is giving it all back as she taunts the crowd and gives them a hair whip that my metal abused neck could only dream about doing. But Velvet has it down. She's got the swish. She can insult you with just a flip of her hair, and I find that very impressive. Red Velvet returns to La Katerina's knee, gives it one more slam against the pole, and then rolls her tight butt back into the ring. Red Velvet continues her torture of La Katerina's left leg and places her ankle on the bottom rope. Velvet only has 5 seconds, but she uses all of that to stand on La Katerina's ankle, putting immense pressure on the ankle joint while La Katerina is just screaming out in pain. Velvet whips La Katerina between the two corners and receives a flying knee to the face from Katerina for the audacity. I was worried that she was going to be lame after that, but she fucking came back with a girl. Both go down. Red from the knee and La Katerina from the pain in her leg, which she repeatedly keeps punching to try and encourage some sort of circulation through it. Red Velvet gets to her feet first and pulls La Katerina up by her hair to lay in some shots, but it's La Katerina who dominates with forearms, and a dazed Red Velvet gets taken down twice with heavy flying hammer fists. La Katerina is putting everything into this match and releases some frustration with another battle cry. Well, Red Velvet tries to drag herself up with the ropes, but ends up just collapsing in the corner. La Katerina goes for a curving run up to her hip attack and slams her hip full force into the side of Red Velvet's skull. La Katerina pulls Red Velvet into the middle of the ring and then gets her down for a pin on the mat via a wonderful fisherman suplex. Beautifully done. Red Velvet puts everything into the kick out and she manages to break free of this pin at 2. Red Velvet drapes herself over Brett's rope of healing power, but La Katerina takes advantage of this and gives Red Velvet a hefty hip attack to the back of her head. We need to do a little like strength test or like whatever it is, like when people like punch something to see what the force of the world champion and La Katerina's hip attacks are. I need that. An underhook facebuster to Red Velvet is not great for La Katerina's knee, and she screams out in pain when she plants the move. The damage done by Velvet earlier is helping her here because La Katerina is slower to capitalize with the pin due to this pain, and Velvet kicks out at 2. La Katerina unwisely hangs Velvet over the middle rope again for another hip attack. This time, Red Velvet quickly avoids the move and turns it on La Catarina with a drop toe hold. It is now La Catarina who is hung up on the middle rope, and Red Velvet plows through the back of her head with a running Meteora. The double horns to the crowd by Red Velvet pleases me, and she pushes La Catarina into the middle of the ring on her knees. Red Velvet decapitates La Catarina with the mix, an extra boosted spinning heel kick, a sexy pin, but it's just a two, which blows Red Velvet's mind. She cannot believe that La Catarina has just kicked out of one of her finishes. Red Velvet gets her head back in the game and deposits La Catarina's juicy bod up on the top turnbuckle. Red Velvet gets her fine self up on the middle rope, and it looks like she wants to superplex La Catarina to the mat. La Catarina is like, fuck no, ma'am, and tucks her toots under the middle rope to block the suplex. La Catarina shoves the champion back, and Red Velvet stumbles to the mat. A bit dazed by what just happened, Velvet walks right into a shotgun drop kick off the top rope from La Catarina. La Catarina goes for her electric chair backdrop and is successful this time, bringing Red Velvet crashing down to the mat with a thud. Red Velvet lays on the mat, seemingly done for. La Catarina gathers all of her power and climbs to the top rope again. Red Velvet is not out though, and as soon as La Catarina is at her most vulnerable on the ropes, Red Velvet gets up and double chops her to the chest. Red climbs the ropes and tries to force La Catarina off the top rope via a superplex, but La Catarina fights back and pushes her off. Red Velvet comes right back though, and the next time she is successful, and Velvet brings La Catarina crashing back into the ring with a superplex on her back. Red Velvet takes La Catarina's leg and dragon screws La Catarina's targeted left knee into the mat. She's focused on that one, still having control of this leg. Red Velvet turns her over and puts her in a half Boston Crab. Unable to sit down into the deep submission due to La Catarina's strength, dragging them both to the ropes. And when she gets there, Red Velvet has to release the hold. Red Velvet grabs La Catarina's left leg again, turns her around so Red is now facing the ropes and sits down deep into the half crab this time. Red Velvet probably would have gotten the submission with this anyways, but Red Velvet uses the ropes to intensify the pressure, and La Catarina taps out screaming while the crowd boos at Red's dastardly deeds. It wasn't necessary, Red, but you got it. Red Velvet cackles in delight, and you got to give her props for the smart thinking, I guess. Red Velvet basks in her glory, gives some excellent sass, and leaves La Catarina in the ring, clutching at her knee. Oh, Red Velvet has come so far. She looks confident in her character in front of the crowd and her abilities in the ring. Velvet's character, to me, seems like a nostalgia kind of feel of like home cooking and baking, but it was all brought together in like an adult sexy kind of way, and I feel like that was a hard character for her to get over in wrestling, especially at the beginning, like when she first came in. But and I was like, maybe it's not the best character for her, but she stuck with it, modified it, and now I think Red Velvet is selling the crap out of it. Like, now I'm like, good on you, girl. You knew it, and you knew you had to like modify like some things. But La Catarina is, as you know, always fun, and we hope to see a match with her at Grand Slam Arena, Mexico. That would be great. I'm sure she's going to be there. I'm sure. The pink in her hair is very pleasing to my sensory needs, and her skills in the ring are top tier. Her crowd work and her character are magnetic. She's great. She's really, really great. I have only just come across her from doing the show, and I love, 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 love. So when we have our fantasy booking of the co CMLL AEW Stardom Women's Only Wrestling pay per view, we need La Catarina on that. That would be a really fun fantasy booking episode. So we'll put a little pin in that. But are you ready? Collision. It is time to indulge in some Saturday night action. And you know it's all about the boom. Adam Cole, baby. Interesting. As our sweet baby boy makes his way to the announce desk. What is going on here? Why are we, what is going on? But never mind, because the world goes gray. But it's rainbows in our hearts. Cause timeless Tony Storm is back again, and she is gorgeous in an all black battle two piece wearing the championship title around her waist. Hip hop hooray! Ho is in black, and I'm very happy. Very, very happy. Have I mentioned my intense love for black clothing? I don't think I have. So, real life, teeny tiny sidebar here. No shit. All my personality, like keywords, were established at a very, 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 very young age. Like to the point where people are like, "Hey, it's gonna grow out of that." Yeah, right. I knew I loved wrestling, metal, hip hop, those two specifically, but music in general, as well. Animals, white hair, and tattoos, wearing all black. But I had a tough battle getting to the point of being able to finally settle into my final form. And the clothing part really messed with my identity and brain function in general when I was little. Always having to like be in shit that I didn't want anywhere on my body was like insanely messed up for my personality development. Now, I don't even wanna, have to deal with, like, gender stuff at all as a transgendered person, but as a confused, unknowing bi kid who was terrified of being seen as, like, a woman of any description due to the implications it applied in the '80s to 2070s-ish, that's enough bollocks to deal with, alright? So once again, give your trans brethren a bit of fucking, respect, okay? It's hard enough just being a fucking human in general. And on the mental crap, neglect, trauma, yada, yada, yada. And we finally ended up here, eventually, after a lot of work and a lot of shame. But now I'm a sicko with Sicko Fam and the love who has a wonderful family, and they're priceless, and a smoggy who is an apple of my eye. I get to wear all black. My hair is bleached, and we are definitely achieving the tattoo perk. Okay, so everyone out there just struggling, yeah, it fucking sucks when people when people in your authority have to dictate what you are. It sucks ass, and it will fuck you up. Just try and stick to your inner self. Just really try. It's hard, but just try. Why are we talking about me? Oh yeah, the world champion is here. Luther is of course here as well, and he is all spiffy in an all black tailored suit. Timeless is in a fabulous sheer fabric adorned in sparkles with fleur around the cuffs and collar for her robe. The lovely Akadiora is in a brown waistcoat pant combo, and she tells us this match will be an eliminator match. If her opponent wins, they will get a legit shot at the title. No bullshit. I love Tony Storm. She makes me feel happy and giddy and always puts a smile on my face when I see her. Like legit, like absolute legit. I like go like silly. So silly. The timeless world champion shakes the hands of our ref and ring announcer, then limbers up with a bit of flailing. And limber she will need to be because the wolves are howling, which means only one thing. Lady Frost has accepted the challenge and she is on her way to the ring in all of her frosty glory. And excuse me, Miss Frost, but lying the black robe, black hair, black sexy battle, one piece combo with the red and the sparkles detailing, I wasn't expecting this. I promise I am not going to trigger another Beck's backstory ramble with all this glorious black battle gear attire. But last time we saw her, she was all in the whites and the stuff. Okay. Lady Frost is walking strong and confident to the ring, in no way showing any signs of fear of the world champion. And that is what I love about Lady Frost. She is like, no fear. She'll go into a battle straight. As the two wrestlers settle themselves into the match, the crowd start to cheer and sidebar, but Adam Cole is definitely on commentary. And that's not bad. It's just unexpected and out of the baby blue. But perhaps shenanigans are in store for our Mr. Cole later on. Moving on. As the crowd chant, Tony, the two wrestlers lock up. Timeless gains control of Frost's arm, but Lady Frost uses her agility to flip out of trouble. A side headlock from Storm to Frost gets Timeless a jab in the gut, but it will be Lady Frost who hits the mat after a lovely shoulder barge from the champion. While the world champion looks down at her, Lady Frost kicks up, impressing our world champion. And Frost sprints to the ropes for momentum. Tony turns speed bump and Frost ninja rolls to avoid it. Frost keeps running the ropes, but Timeless is able to counter all the offense from Frost until an athletic Lady Frost captures the champion with her legs and pulls off a spinning Hurricane Runner that sends the champion rolling to the floor. As Timeless circles the ring, Lady Frost gets on the apron to ambush the champion. Storm sees Frost, goes to leg sweep her, but Frost uses her skills to avoid the sweep by cartwheel, using the bottom rope to plant her hands on instead of the mat. Super impressive. Lady Frost sends herself then cannonballing into Storm and she takes her out. Lady Frost then uses the barricade made for tricks and spills and does another impressive cartwheel into a backflip. Hello. Once again, taking the world champion down. A few celebratory slaps to the chest, fair enough, and then Lady Frost rolls our timeless champion into the ring for a pin. May I sidebar for a second? There are some wrestlers who will be world champions in my eyes, like no matter if they actually have the title or not. And Tony Storm has definitely become one of them. When she does, I mean, just like Strickland, yeah, when she doesn't have the title, she'll always be world champion. Not that will, not like the new champion, but anyway, Storm kicks out at 2, and Frost already looks a bit frustrated. I mean, she has just pulled out quite some big guns. Lady Frost whips Tony into the ropes, and Storm comes back like a bullet and takes Frost down with a Thez press, hammering blows down onto Lady Frost. Tony picks up Frost in a side slam lift, and the crowd are ramping up their Tony chants. Timeless takes a moment to absorb the moment, casually holding a grown-ass woman like it's nothing. Then she finally remembers she has her and slams Lady Frost back first onto her knee, and now Lady Frost is in a world of pain. A perfectly executed suplex extending to her tippy toes, the world champion pins Lady Frost to the mat, but it is only a 2. Tony wasn't able to secure Lady Frost's legs, and that enabled Frost to use them to power out of said pin. Tony Storm allows Lady Frost to get to her feet and then grabs her by the throat. Maybe a choke slam? We don't know. Because Lady Frost flips the fook out of it and wheelbarrows into a forward roll, and Tony Storm finds herself in a pin, but she manages to power out it too. The two wrestlers go at it again. Lady Frost has adrenaline coursing throughout her body, and she zooms the ropes and missiles herself through the world champion. The world champion takes refuge in the corner, and she should have known better because she was in prime position for a snowball fight from Lady Frost. Lady Frost lands the special and takes all the wind out of our world champion. Frost kicks and punches at Tony Storm to keep her in the perfect place for her top rope power move, the mind-blowing tornillo. Frost takes down the champion and pins her for the count, but will only get to 2. Honestly, the corkscrew that Lady Frost gets on that tornillo is redonk. Re-frickin' donk. Like, I know Ray Phoenix is like top tier, but compare them. Lady Frost, frustrated, climbs to the top rope again. This time, Tony is more aware and she grabs Lady Frost by the throat. Timeless lifts Lady Frost off of the middle rope by her throat and power bombs Frost to the mat with a solid thud. Lady Frost is hurt, but she doesn't give up, kicking out at 2. A bit miffed, our world champion regroups and goes on the attack. As the crowd ramps up the chant of Tony even more, our timeless world champion prepares for the hip attack. Lady Frost has crawled to the corner for an attempted safety, but does manage to see the hip attack coming her way in time to counter it with a double boot to the face. A superb chiller driller is then successfully put on the champion, and a pooped Lady Frost covers the timeless one for a pin. Tony is strong, and she is full of stamina, and she pulls it all into a kick out at 2. Lady Frost tries to decapitate the world champion with a boot, but gets countered by timeless Tony Storm. She wants to keep her head. Tony runs in at Frost, who is buggered in the corner, and slams her whole body into Frost. Lady Frost takes a step and then she just crumbles to the mat. Our world champion looks over her shoulder, quickly poses, and then runs to the opposite corner, turns, sprints back at Lady Frost, not giving her a moment, and connects with a powerful hip attack. Lady Frost is powerless to stop the world champion getting a beautiful submission on her, and one I do not recall seeing the world champion do before, which is awesome. A chicken wing with a forearm choke, and she just ragdolls Lady Frost around until the world champion brings Frost down to the mat, puts her in a body scissors as well, and it's Tapsville for Lady Frost. And rightly so. That looked painful as fuck. And Frost lasted a decent amount of time trying to think of a way to get out of it. She was just unsuccessful. Like, the timeless one was a boa on that. Our timeless world champion lays flat out on the ring. The ref hands her the world title, and Tony clutches it to her bosom. While Tony Storm engages all of her limbs in dance, Luther hands her a microphone. Tony Storm gives us comedy gold. And all I'm going to say is, in this quote, I could be over here pretending to be asleep. That one made me cackle out loud unexpectedly. You got to see it. Also, the hello from the lovely gentleman was also a good cackle. Well done. Good helloing, sir. Our world champion finishes her promo outside on the balcony overlooking the pier. I have absolutely no idea where we are, which must be, and I must rectify that. Don't worry, I do. Our bi queen, AEW world champion, states proudly that she is here, she is queer, and she will always be timeless. And we fade away from our world champion, gifting the people of the pier her presence and showering with them with hellos. And imagine not knowing what the frick was going on there. That would have been brilliant. That was a great match between the world champion and Lady Frost. And I feel like me and Brett Michelle getting our little, champion through the roster kind of storyline here, building them all up, bringing them all on TV. I'm really, really happy. But yeah, no, it was great. And fair enough, like good on Lady Frost, like getting in there with all the confidence in the world. It didn't pay off, but she really did have the champion on the ropes there, like literally and figuratively. We are fading from the champ to a Death Riders promo, which means we get a visit from the lovely Marina Shafir, who has the briefcase again containing the map to where the world title is buried. And I know after my stupendous butchery of the wonderful Spanish language, I am currently not one to talk about hearing things being said wrong. But the butchering of Katsuyori coming out of Mox's mouth was like nails on a chalkboard. Where did he get that from? Katsuyori? What do you say? I gotta get in Mox voice. Katsuyori. No, that's a little bit Vincey. It was awful. I'm digressing. Marina looked badass while Mox cuts his promo. Moving on. Bum, 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 bum. Bane is here, and she is with the super bad girl, Madame. Bane is stunning in gold and maroon, looking 10 foot tall in her battle headdress. Penelope Ford is in her dark purple with gold detailing around the bosom bustier with black pants. Also stunning. Penelope says something as she walks past the camera, but I can't catch it because Nigel is jibber jabbering all over it like a. We do a lovely sweep around the ring, and we get that beautiful money shot of Ford and Bane. Whoa, hello, Ford and Bane. Excuse me. Feel the wrath! Yeah, baby. We've got Harley Cameron coming out next. She will be facing Bane in a one-on-one match. Let's go, Harley. You can do it. Harley Cameron is in my favorite battle gear, all black with the leprade straps, studs, and sparkles. She is pumped. No fear coming down to the ring. Cameron is rocking darker hair now in a kind of a swishy 70s soft curly vibe. Watch out there. We know who has the soft curly 70s vibe on lockdown. You can see that Harley is itching to go as soon as she is in the ring. She knows this is serious. She knows she needs to get the upper hand on Megan if she is going to survive. But fucking good on her though, for like just stepping up and being like, I'm gonna kill you. Well, not kill you. You know what I mean. There's no killing in wrestling. Only kayfabe killing in wrestling. Anyway, moving on. She wants to get Harley wants to get an attack in on Bane as quickly as possible. Very smart. As soon as Bane has disrobed and unheaddressed, Harley sprints in and lays in forearms and boots to the Megasis. The bell has rung, so this is all okay. This is smart, but also concerning because Bane is going to be mega pissed about this embarrassment later. And I fear for our sweet, sweet Harley might get broken into tiny pieces before this match ends. Here's note. By the way, Adam Cole is still here on commentary. He actually blends in. And, it's just so out of the blue, though. I sense, like I say, I sense end of show shenanigans, but who knows? But it's just so weird. It's just so weird. And since I'm like booping around the place, I come in and I'm like, oh my God, and Cole's still there. Anyway, moving on. Harley is shoulder tackling Bane in the corner, exploding with offense from the start. Bane flips Harley over the top rope to the apron, but Harley keeps it up with 2 gomangiri kicks to Bane's head. She avoids Bane's retaliation and shoulder tackles her again into the gut. Megan tries to then tackle Cameron through the ropes, but Harley sidesteps it, hammer fists down on Bane's back, and then gives her a stiff axe kick to the back. The crowd are like, yo, go Harley, as she releases a battle cry from the depths of her loins. Megan tries to gain the upper hand on the smaller Harley, but Cameron is super quick, avoids the lariat, and lands another kick to the noggin of Bane with an enziguri. You can tell Harley's been learning from the CEO because she runs at Bane for a lung blower, but is caught mid-blow instead. Harley gets heft over Bane's head and she crashes down to the mat. Bane now definitely has the upper hand and she stretches out the annoyance in her neck and stalks Harley, who is still down on the mat. It's now Harley who gets repeated shoulder tackles to the gut from Bane in the corner. And I finally used my brain to look down at the description, and we are in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Yay! The place I thought was actually in Atlanta, but then remembered that Atlanta itself is a city and not a state. And we're moving on. A spicy chop to the chest of Cameron satisfies Megan, and she finally listens to the ref and lets her out the corner. But Harley stumbles into another corner, and this time Bane stuffs her in there with some stiff knees to Harley's stomach. The ref gets her out of the corner quicker this time, and Megan slowly backs away. The ref puts himself between the 2 wrestlers, and this makes him absolutely oblivious to the fact that the super bad girl has scampered up to the apron and is now pulling viciously on Harley's hair, wrenching her head backwards. Despite the entire crowd booing, Penelope gets away with it. Bane goes back to Harley and whips her over by the head, throwing Cameron to the mat. A knee to the back and a boot on the stomach from Bane for a disrespectful pin. Harley kicks out with her whole body at one. Meh. Megan is still the one in control, though, and she brings more pain to Harley's world with a tough vertical suplex. A running body splash to Cameron in the corner, followed by a double underhook butterfly suplex, and Harley is fooked. Harley takes this pain and uses it for one last burst of fighting power. Bane rudely pulls Harley up by the hair, and Cameron takes advantage by turning it into a jawbreaker, which dazes Bane enough for Harley to hit her with soul food. This rocks the Megasis. Harley goes to deal more pain to Megan, but Bane uses her fuck this mechanic and flies at the incoming Harley with a lariat. Bane and Penelope are very proud of themselves, and we get a power pose from Bane in the middle of the ring. In trying to get herself to her feet, Harley ends up on the apron and soon lands hard on the floor from a pump kick by Bane. Adam Cole sidebar again. He's good at commentary. Commentary is hard, and he's pulling it off like a natural. But anywho, I swear that's the last. Harley lands right in front of Ford, which is not good for Harley. Ford is reasonable, though, and only lays in 2 heavy forearms to a downed Cameron. Harley rolls herself back into the ring to avoid the count out. And avoid the count out. And the crowd start chanting for Harley to spur her on in the fight. Cameron takes a chance and lays in forearms to an incoming Bane. Bane just gets mad and pump kicks Harley back into the corner from whence she came. Poor Harley gets shoulder tackled to the lower back, then sent over Bane's head and crashing to the mat from another suplex. Megan has slowed this match down and she enjoys making Harley suffer. Megan batters Harley to the ground with a ripcord lariat, but doesn't let go of Cameron's arm as she falls, and she picks her up and gives her another. A third is unsuccessful though. Harley manages to duck it, but Cameron soon goes down hard again. This time, Bane goes to pin her properly. But Harley still kicks out at 2. And you can bet your britches Megan Bane is not happy. Bane keeps laying in the punishment to a hurting Cameron as the crowd are now divided in a dueling with Harley and Bane chants. Bane goes to grab Harley from the mat, but Cameron uses her long, strong legs to kick Bane's head, and Bane stumbles back. Bane attempts it again, but it gets the same result. Switching up her body position, Bane drags Harley to the corner by her hair and plants her there. Bane tries to use this position to deal more pain to Harley, but she meets a boot every time. With Bane doubled over in the ring, Harley climbs the ropes from the inside but cannot complete her plan because Bane is up there in a flash and yoinks Harley's head into an inverted face lock. This can't be good. Harley is like, fuck that noise, and lays in shots to Megan's ribs, successfully stopping her plans. Huzzah! Harley takes a snack break and bites Bane's head, getting good distance between them two now because Bane's like, ow. Penelope tries to help Bane, but gets a back elbow from Harley instead. YOSH! Harley uses her 8th tank of stamina and runs the ropes, avoids the incoming lariat from Bane, and takes her down with a round trip DDT. Harley goes for the pin, but Megan kicks out at 2. Harley struggles to fight it, but eventually she does get taken down with a gorgeous falcon arrow from Bane. No matter how gorgeous it was, though, Harley still kicks out at 2. Go, Harley! Harley has an unbelievable amount of heart, and she just comes back at Bane with clobbering forearms that Bane just nibbles up. A running lariat from Cameron does more damage to herself than Bane, and she crumbles to the mat before the unmovable force of Megan Bane. Bane gives Harley a lovely power bomb and plants her for the pin. Everyone thought Harley was down, but she kicks out at 2, and we all go wild like, woohoo, fuck yeah, dude. Bane goes to end this with a Fate's Descent, but a wiggly Harley turns it into a cheeky little roll up and she pins Megan. Megan's like, no, and kicks out at 2, but Harley tries again with another cheeky little roll up, but Megan still kicks up for 3. A connecting running knee gives Harley an opportunity to go to the ropes and fly at Bane with a crossbody, but instead of taking her down, Bane yoinks her out of the air, and now it is Harley who is well and truly fooked. Bane hefts her over her head impressively onto her shoulders, which in itself, and brings Harley back to earth in a Fate's Descent. This time, Megan pins all the limbs, and it's a 1, 2, 3 for the Megasis. Ford comes into the ring and they stand together victorious. The super bad girl gets a super bad idea and grabs Harley by the hair and throws her at Bane. Bane hefts her up onto her shoulders and gives her another Fate's Descent. As they stand over their prey, a woman in all black and a plank of wood comes running to the ring. Ford sees her entering the ring and gets the fook out of there while trying to warn Bane to also do the same, but Bane can only hear the demons in her head calling for blood. The mystery woman is Anna J. She cracks Bane over the shoulders with the plank of wood. Johnny's plank is all grown up. Bane doesn't go down though. Instead, she slowly turns her head, really scarily, to see who has the audacity. Anna swings plank at Bane again, but she catches it and hefts it to the side. Anna J lures Megan in, ducks, and pulls the top rope down, sending Megan over the top rope, and she falls to the floor. Anna Jay starts taunting the Megasis to come at her in the ring, but Penelope holds her back and diffuses the situation. Now is not the time, it seems. We get a lovely
little moment between Harley Cameron and Anna Jay in the middle of the ring. They stand there victorious and proud together. Maybe Anna Jay and Harley Cameron? I'm putting everyone in the tag team. Only because we haven't seen Tay come back, you know? I mean, she was doing stuff in Japan, so hopefully she comes back soon. After this wonderful match, we get a lovely little visit from the Shafir and the Mox again. Marina still has the briefcase, green army pants, and a black tank, and her hair is tied up for violence. But we don't need to be here. We get blessed by the gorgeous Lexi Nair in the comfy looking summer dress that is perhaps in olive green. We can't tell because the entire world has gone sepia due to her interview with the youngest man alive. Brody fights Josh! YOSH! It ends in a time limit draw, which doesn't happen often, and it was a bloody good fight. Go watch it. But moving on, because there's nothing to do here. Lexi Nair is back in our lives with an interview between Anthony Bowens and Daddy S and Blake Christensen, who's with Lee Mariotti. But we don't need to know about that. That ends our show of Collision. Collision. That was a great show. That was a brilliant, brilliant show. Everything got ramped up. We got to see more women. And see, the remarkable Renee Paquette avoided me all episode, didn't she? Moving on from that note. Are you ready to do some tag team fantasy booking fun times? Because I know I am. I've been looking forward to this. This is great. So, I put out a little thingamabooby on Threads and Blue Sky. And I also mentioned it in last week's episode for everyone to get their suggestions in for who they would fantasy book as a tag team. Give them a name if you got them. Could be from any promotion at all, like past, present. Go nuts. Go have fun. And people came back with some brilliant, brilliant stuff. I am going to go through the Sickos group first. Let's see what they all came up with. They gave me some gems. Sicko Toby came up with Stat and Willow, and they're best friends. So that's the attack. That would be great. Wouldn't it be good if they could reconcile their differences again? Oh, bless. He puts Sky Blue and Julia Hart together and calls them Blue Hearts. I like to add one onto that, and I would go with like Cold Hearts. He puts Anna Jay and Harley Cameron together because of the match that we just saw, and he calls them FAP. Fat ass puppets. Oh goodness. Monet and Cora Jade slash. Okay, so this is her name that she's going by now. Elena Black is now Cora Jade. Okay. But keeping with the Cora, he calls them Monet and Cooperated. Thinking. Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter. he'd call them vintage violence, and that is cool. I like that. You could put that on a shirt. You could. Bane and Penelope Ford, super bad goddesses. I like it. I've been trying to think of one for them myself, and I keep on getting like, I can't come up with anything, so I like that. Aminata and Thunder Rosa. That's an interesting one. He'd call them Thunder Queens. Bless. That's an interesting combination. I think I like that. Hmm. Praza and Deep, professors of virtue. I like that. I think they would be good. Baszler and Shafir, of course, Death Riders. We all know that. May and Mina, Till Death Do Us Part. I like that one. Sheeta and Dakota Kai. I like this one as well. Controlled Damage. That would be good. Hikaru Shida and Dakota Kai with their kicks. It'd be great. I wonder if she'd be under Evie though. Or come up with a completely different name. We'll see. He also puts Taya and Frost together, which I had also kind of thought about too, and he calls them two cold lookers. I like that one. Blessed little neon ghost who wonderfully sold me Julia. He has one suggestion. It is Chris Statlander and Rhea Ripley, and they're the GMMs, Goth Muscle Mummies. Yes, it won't, but yes, yes, ultimate fantasy booking right there. Oh, that'd be a brilliant tag team. iBlade Daily gives us Manami Toyota and Mayu Iwatani, which would be damn. Whew, that would be an unstoppable tag team. We have a name of, I don't know how I'm going to pronounce this. Manayu Towat. Oh, it's not that difficult. Manayu Towatani. I wonder what that would be in Japanese with those two names smushed together. It's got to mean something. Sicko Creed came up with, he wants Becky Lynch and Velvet McIntyre together. That'd be great. He also wants Asuka and Bull Nakano. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Like Prime Asuka, Prime Bull Nakano. That'd be good. He also puts what have I done here? Oh, Luna Vachon and Rhea Ripley. That would be great. That would be great. Oh, I'm just letting that like sink into my head. Oh, that would be good. Luna and Rhea? Fuck yeah. Sicko Creed also puts together OG Bailey, the hugger, with Willow, and it would be nice to beat you, which I love. I love that. That's so cool. Oh, I'm loving this. Sicko Casey came up with Red Velvet and Sky Blue. He'd call them Purple Haze. I like that. Sicko Justin also wants Willow and Stat together, but this time in a Healy kind of way, which would be great. He also would put TJPW's Yuki Kamifuku and Wakana Ueha. Ooh, sorry. Uehara. 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 Yeah, Uehara. That's the one. Sorry, my bad. Sicko Big Daz wants to really have the Sasha and Bailey versus Lita and Trish as a big nostalgia clash. Like put them on together and it'd be brilliant. I don't think we could ever. I mean, we could honestly get Bailey in AEW at some point, but I don't think we'd ever get like Lita or Trish coming in. But it's okay. He'd also would love to have, and I think this is a brilliant idea and twist on the whole like fantasy tag team bookings discussion. Tony and Mariah, but in the and like the angle of Raven and Dreamer when they were feuding together in WCW, but they had to be a tag team as well. So like two foes, but they have to be like pushed together. I like that. That'd be cool. Sicko Nerd wants Velvet and Sky Blue together. I like that one. Sicko Addy says Stat and Bane. Uh, the Stat Bane Strikers. Like it. Kurt adds, Sicko Kurt adds on to that name though. He thinks Mega Chris, which is cool. And the Slamazons. I like it. Blade came in with Chrysis. Of course he would. Sicko Vix JS came in with Maki Ito and Shotzi Blackheart. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. We don't have a name for this, but yes. Yes, 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 yes. Punk Idol? Yeah, Punk Idol would be cool. Maki Ito and Shotzi Blackheart. Oh my god. If we were to think of like a team of just absolute like joy, that would be it. That's brilliant idea, Sickovix. He would also they would also put Rosemary and Abaddon together. Down with that. Very, very down. And Thikla and Taya. That would be great. Thikla and Taya Valkyrie. Sicko Crows also wants Bane, but this time with Taya Valkyrie, and they would have them as the Shield Maidens. Brilliant name. Very, very brilliant name. Sicko Vix comes in with another name for this though as the Winged Battalion, which I also like. You guys are coming up with some really rolly off the tongue names. I don't know why I went Italian like this. But yeah, it's brilliant. On Blue Sky, lovely little user by the name of Pippin gave me Christet and Hader, thinking Chris is still in her alien, persona, calling them Area 54. Awesome, because it puts that whole like 54 in there. I love it. Sicotino comes at me with Thunder Rosa and Red Velvet, and he calls them La Peligrosas. Now, little sidebar shout out to Tino. He is now my Spanish go to for all of my funky pronunciation needs. He sent me a hilarious voice note after listening to my last episode, cackling at my absolute butchery of his lovely language. So from now on, I don't know why I never thought about this before, but from now on, before I have to say anything, I'm going to that guy. He's going to tell me how to say it. Not too sure if I'm going to remember, but I'm going to try. Also from Blue Sky, another user, Shorfakan, gave the same thing, but for Disco Elysium for Chris and Bane, which I like as well. On Threads, we got a reply from the Fluffy Cajun, and he puts Shayna and Thickler together. No name, but that would be a great little idea. How cool is that? I loved everyone's suggestions. Everyone's suggestions are absolutely brilliant. And keep it going. Honestly, keep it going. We can like fantasy book the tag division for as long as we want. Even when we get it, we can still, you know, fantasy book it. I love doing this. Thank you so much for everyone's crowned participation on that. Thank you to the sickos. You guys always step up when a girl needs a question answered. And that was so much fun. So if you have any like battle bookings, that would be great to let me know about. We could perhaps maybe in the future discuss some not only like matches that have gone on, but matches that could have, didn't for whatever go on. That'd be fun. But we are waffling on too much into a different area right now. I would like to continue talking about the tag division history. It's just a little bit more that we have to add on to, but I just wanted everyone to know, which I think I kind of like went on last time, that the NWA tag titles are back in action. They have been since 2021. Um, of course they are. This is all a new like legacy. It has to start, unfortunately, from now. It can't take the legacy from the tag championships because that was Moolah's, and she sold them to WWE as we talked about. And even the WWE ones that they reinstated, that was all a reinstation. Oh, reinstation. That's a whole new like reign as well. So ended when we ended it in the last episode, that was the actual end of that belt reign, which sucks because it went all the way back to 1952, and it would be awesome if there was something that was still around in women's wrestling that went back that long, considering their titles and everything got demolished and stuff. So all of that history can't really be brought, forward with the other stuff. So that's a bit poopy. But oh well, never mind. Alison Kay and Marty Bell were the first ones to win the NWO Tag Championships again. Like I said, in August 2021, they were I think they still are the tag team called the Hex. I think we've seen Marty Bell in some dark matches actually, so I'm going to be looking out for her when we look back at some of those. They were tag champs for 287 days, which is pretty damn impressive. Next to one of them were Kenzie Page and Ella Envy. I know Kenzie Page, but I haven't heard of Ella Envy before. So if anyone else knows about her, please let me know. I mean, obviously, I'm sure I'm gonna like delve into her at some point. But for now, I'm not 100% on her. And because of everything else, we're not gonna go too deep on that. All right, because we know we're going to get there later. They had the tag championships for an impressive 245 days. Now, the wonderful tag team who we all know and recognize and absolutely love and are so disappointed sounds a bit mean. So sad that Charlotte is currently injured. But the Renegade Twins won them. So they are NWA tag champions, but they won them in 2027, but for some crazy unknown reason it was like 10 days or something, which is unfortunate. AEW ex wrestler Maddie Rinkowski and a Misa Kate won the championships next. They won them in 2025. There was some shenanigans going on between these reigns. There's like a 0-day reign of an Ella Envy and Roxy. I'm not quite too sure what was going on with all that. Like I said, I haven't gone too deep into like this part. This is more of like a catching up of what's going on like now, as opposed to like delving into like the deep history. But that's some interesting stuff. I'm gonna have to see what on earth went on in between that. Kylie Page, Ella Envy come back. Well, Ella Envy comes back for another tag run. This is her third now, and this is for 184 days. They lose the championships to the King Bees, who are Charity King and Danny B. They hold them for 186 days. They lose them to the It Girls in 2024, Miss Star and Ella Envy. They hold them for 105 days. They lose them to Kenzie Page, who is now on her second run as NWA Tag Champion, and her partner this time is a Big Mama. They only hold them for 98 days, though, until we get to our current champions, Tiffany Neves and Valentina. They're in their first reign. They won them in 2025, March, very recently, and they are currently like 35, 40-ish days into their reign, still going. So that's brilliant. That's the best. I'm sorry. I mungled up my words all over there. Where are we going? So that is where we are up to with the whole NWA new run of champions. That's where we are there. We do have, I was also thinking about going through the knockouts, like giving a rundown of like the knockouts championship in this in this episode as well. But there's a lot to that. There really is a hell of a lot to that. So yeah, I will be doing that a lot later. Oh, one thing about Marty that I did actually want to bring up was that she has been in a faction with the wonderful Miriam. Ah! They were in something called the Dollhouse. And Marty was also in the Mae Young Classic, but she was out in the first round. Yeah, that was the one. Pause, Shane. I need to scroll to where I am now because I've scrolled too far. There it is. I kept trying to find it, and I kept scrolling up too much, then down too much, then up too much, then down too much. And I was like, we need to stop this recording because this is going a little insane. All right, I'm just going to take a drinky break too. Also, snot came out of my nose, which is quite funny.
I'm gonna put that tag girl on the camera though. You're good.
Yeah, no. I took like a little like side look, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go. Don't mind me. All right, so I'm just gonna do a little basically exactly what I did with the NWA titles to bring them all up to speed in the recent history. I'm going to do the same with the wobbly wobbly, and then that'll be it. That'll be end of show.
Cool.
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 So we will do that later with the knockouts thing, but for now we are going to delve into the wobbly republic land and catch up with their reinstated tag titles and stuff, which also kind of had a couple of shenanigans involved again, which is interesting. So it all reinstated itself. Well, the titles didn't reinstate themselves, like the Fed did, but they all came to fruition. I don't know what I'm saying with this at the Elimination Chamber in 2019. There was a Elimination Chamber, all of tag teams, and the Boston Hug Connection won them. Not being totally shady, but the Boston Hug Connection. My God, for a company that has like a whole creative team, the Boston Hug Connection is what you come up with. Moving on. The Iconics win the tag championships at WrestleMania 2019 35 in a fatal 4-way, which was amazing. I remember watching that live. I was on the floor crying my little happy eyes out. I mean, it was a brilliant moment. They held the titles for 120 days. We all know there was shenanigans with the Boston Hug Connection and the tag titles, and rightly so. I'm on their side on this one. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, remember them? Got them in 2000 and not what? 2019 at WrestleMania 63? At 36, I should say. That's wrong. Why did I say 2019 again? Who knows? But at WrestleMania 36, whatever that year was, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross won the championships, but they only held them for 62 days. I remember that reign. I wasn't really a big fan of that reign. The caboose, I think, yeah, around this time, I think I was like gone from watching the Wobbly Republic, like right now. The Kabuki Warriors, I do remember hearing about this and I got very, very excited. Asuka and Kairi Sane won the titles in the Hell in a Cell. Wow! And they had a wonderful reign of 172 days. Alexa, maybe this is where I was meant to say Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross won them? Because now I'm saying at WrestleMania 36 they win them again. Who knows? Way to make it more like confusing for you all. You now have to fact check me. At a WrestleMania it happened, alright? Next after them, Bailey and Sasha won them again in 2020. This time I know I'm right. And they held them for 96 days. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, which I completely forgot were a thing, won them off Bailey and Sasha. Did they win them off Bailey and Sasha, or was that was the whole thing? Anyway, moving on. Asuka and Charlotte. What? Asuka and Charlotte Flair were a team? What? What is this shenanigans? That makes no sense. I'm trying to think it, and it makes no sense. But anyway, they were like champions, like 42 days, so I guess it didn't make sense to them either. And then Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler come back with a 103-day reign. After this, though, the title was split off from NXT because at first they were like all intermingling all over the place. Apparently, there was some sort of shenanigans, and they ended up making an NXT tag title. They had that for about 2 years ish, but now it's unified again with the current champions being Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I realize that there are more to say on this, but I haven't written that down because I am a noodle. But I do know that Collateral Damage had them for a little bit. Mercedes, well, Sasha Banks at the time, and Naomi had them for a bit, and then the disrespect forced them to just walk out, which I thought was like proud of you on that one. Totally didn't think that Naomi would step back into WWE, but she is. And she's feuding with Jade, I think, and she's seems to be doing really well. She's insanely talented. She blew everyone out of the water in TNA. It was awesome seeing her in TNA. I would have loved to have had her in AEW, but it wasn't to be. Hmm. So it wasn't a comprehensive rundown, but you're up to speed enough. Yeah, you're up to speed enough. We don't need to flippy flappy over there too often. But the wrestlers are great. I love the wrestlers. And with that, people, that is the end of our little episode here. She says, totally getting lost in reading things that she shouldn't be. With that, dear wrestling fans, we end today's episode of Don't Call Me Diva. Okay, did you enjoy that one? Did you like talking about tag team wrestling? I always love talking about tag team wrestling. We're going to talk about them again. Anytime you want to send me your fantasy booking of a tag wrestler, you let me know. I love to hear about it. If you're like, Pixie, you should have spoken about this run with the Wobbly Republic titles, and I may look into it. But you got what you got, and this is what you're getting, all right? We are available every fucking where in audio form, plus we have audio and video versions up on YouTube. Thank you to the wonderful Shane, my excellent producer, editor, and promoter. Go check out some of his work on Shoot Style Sessions on the Ethos Network. An entire bunch of very talented people over there. Go check out sickosclub.com. They have new merch. Woo! and at Sicko's Club on Threads. You've never met a more inclusive, smart, stupid, kind, and talented bunch of wrestling fans until you hook up with the Sickos. Very welcoming, very, very welcoming. You can find me lurking the dungeons of Threads at Bix_Bastet and under a tree in Blue Sky at Bix-Bastet. And with that, women's wrestling rules. Don't be a dick.